I will try again. Good evening. My name is Rich Schellhaus, and I am the very proud and fortunate head of school here at GA. Welcome to our 262nd year. Before we get started with our formal program, 3 announcements. Number 1, GA has been at the front line of the pandemic since it started in March of 2020. In fact, we had the very first student in Pennsylvania diagnosed with COVID-19. And as a result, thanks to the great efforts of Nurse Lori Andrus, we have administered thousands and thousands of vaccinations at our school. So I ask you, unless you are up here speaking, to please make sure you remain masked throughout the program. And we have masks actually that are coming up and down the aisles right now if you don't happen to have one with you. We are very cautious. There are lots of folks here who could be susceptible to the pandemic and to the illness, and I need you to help protect them the way that you protect your loved ones as well. That's my first announcement. Second announcement, there was not a nuclear holocaust in the Art Center. When you look in the front 2 rows here, Mr. Ginter, the athletic director, was asking me if we were turning the Art Center into a hockey rink, finally, and I said, in fact, no. This is just the remnants of the wonderful Ida storm that hit GA in September, and we had 2 feet of standing water here in the Arts Center, and no electricity and no sump pump. So I want to assure you that the arts are alive and well at Germantown Academy, and we're just waiting for some new upholstery to come to put the chairs back together. And third preliminary announcement is as follows. It is Veterans Day. And so I ask you to please join me in a moment of quiet gratitude as we lift up our hearts and our appreciation to all of those in the Germantown Academy community who serve, to all who have served, to all of their families and the sacrifices they have made, and to those who have paid the ultimate price for their loyal service to our country. Please join me in a moment of quiet gratitude. Thank you. Now on with the formal part of the program. As I said, my name is Rich Schellhaus. I'm the head of school here at GA. It's my 13th year. And because it is my 13th year, I've had the good fortune of seeing a couple of our inductees tonight live in person and in action, and it has been a true joy to do so. Tonight, we are celebrating some of the remarkable talents and achievements of individual players and coaches and teams who truly made their mark on our school's 262-year history. And better late than never, this is the inductee class of 2020. And because this is such a special evening for GA always, we didn't want to hold it virtually on Zoom. We wanted to make sure we had an opportunity to come together as a community and to congratulate and thank all of our inductees in person, and so I'm so glad that we're able to do that. It's always special for me to be part of an induction into a society in which I personally never ever in 1 million years would have been inducted. In my own high school middle distance running and yes, race walking career, there were moments of joy and there were moments of trauma. There were moments where I was so nervous that I couldn't hold my breakfast in, and there were moments where I came in first. It was exciting, but for me, beyond the joy of competition, it really was about the opportunity to see my peers who excelled in their sports raise the bar for every one of us. They showed us by striving always to do their best and to be their best what we might aspire towards in the future. And this is, of course, exactly what our inductees tonight have done. They brought to the table preternatural talent, spirit, a raw desire to be the best, and in so doing have inspired us. So my sincerest thanks go to the coaches and to the athletes who are being inducted tonight into our Hall of Fame here at GA for proudly donning the red, black, and blue. And it is such a joy for us to welcome you back to our campus, especially now on this Spirit Week as we are about to head into our 135th rivalry with our friends at Penn Charter, Go GA PPC. So, of course, I also want to thank the families, the coaches, and the fans who supported our inductees through countless hours of practice, training, games, away games, and more practice and more training. It takes more than a village to create legendary athletes and coaches. And our inductees tonight are truly fortunate, as we are as a school, to have dedicated villagers who love them and support them and who are able to help them raise their talents to the ultimate level. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Germantown Academy's Director of Athletics, Tim Ginter. Tim has been at GA for 7 years as a history teacher and as a varsity baseball coach, but for the last 2, he has graciously served as our Director of Athletics. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium. Tim.
Thank you, Rich. As he said, my name is Tim Ginter. I am in year 2 of my tenure as Director of Athletics. And in many ways, this is year 1 all over again because last year was so interesting. To the family and friends of this year's inductees, thank you for being here with us tonight. To the inductees, congratulations. After a year-long wait, I can't tell you how excited we are to have you here on campus so we can properly celebrate your accomplishments. The Germantown Academy Athletic Hall of Fame was started in 1995. At the conclusion of tonight's event, this year's inductees will join over 150 athletes, coaches, and teams already inducted for their outstanding accomplishments. But before we begin the ceremony tonight, my first Hall of Fame as athletic director, I would like to recognize 2 people for not only their overall contributions to GA athletics, but also for their part in starting this event. The first is Ginny Hoffman, class of 1760, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2008, and who retired in the spring of 2020 after 44 years of service. Thank you, Ginny Hoffman. And the second, Jim Fennerty, class of 1760, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2012, and who was taken from us far too early. It definitely feels different not having him here tonight, but I know he's watching because he really loved this event. The last announcement before we begin is that there will be an intermission tonight. After the final inductee gives his or her speech, we will take a 15-minute break, and after this brief pause, we will begin the program again by inducting the teams of the class of 2020. So without further ado, presenting for Sean Coyle, class of 2010, Craig Conlon.
Sorry about that. Certainly a lot shorter than Craig Conlon, but as a team, here we go. And I'm here to do Tommy Coyle, induct Tommy, and we'll go by age because Tommy came first. Good to see everyone tonight. It's always not a great idea to give a lawyer and a baseball coach about a full year of COVID to prepare the speech. So, and especially a topic that I'm so passionate about Tommy. But before I start, I certainly thank everyone for coming. Tim, thank you for organizing this. Rich, thank you for being here and supporting athletics. I have to say something to Sean, who I coach Sean. Obviously, you'll get your due, but tremendous speed, tremendous power, well-deserving. And to Damon Myers, you'll be up here last, I believe. My former camp counselor, Germantown Academy camp. Go GA camp. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all you've done. And happy Veterans Day to you, and thank you for everything you've done. Well, Tommy, it's your night. COVID couldn't keep you away from this night, Tommy. And I know you had a little procedure recently, brain surgery, could not keep you away from this night either. I know those Malvern Prep pitchers couldn't keep you away from this night because you dominated those guys. Tommy Coyle was a dream for us to get. It started at an event in 2004. We had something called a Future Stars Tournament. Coach Conlon and I, Coach McGann, created this event, try to attract some young student athletes to come. And we had a dream. We were coming off of a season 2004 where we were nationally ranked. And the legendary Coach McGeehan will remember this dream. I had a dream. I had to find a shortstop. He had to be a lefty hitter. He had to be able to run. And I really believed in the diversity mission, so I said, Charlie, what? Let's get one from Puerto Rico. Well, we found one from Chalfont, PA. His name was Tommy Coyle. He was a little guy, about 5'2". He had a swagger about him, confidence, could play, could do it all. I asked Dave's son, his coach, I said, who's that guy? He's pretty good. He says, Tommy Coyle, but he's probably going to LaSalle. Well, Craig Conlon knows I love challenges, and all he had to say was he's going to LaSalle, and I knew we had to do something. I said, well, where are his parents? I want to talk to his parents. He said, Dad's over there. Oh, great. Who's he? Oh, he's a doctor. I said, oh, doctor, a surgeon. Sounds like a perfect fit. And I met the mom, Tony. Mom's wonderful. Sean certainly got his speed and strength from Tony, and we're so happy, Tony, that you're here today with us. Dave's son, I asked him about Tommy Coyle, wanted to see if he'd be interested in GA, and he said, yeah, he might be interested, but I think he's probably going to go to LaSalle. You might have to take his brother, though, if you want him at GA. I said, oh, he has a brother? Well, tell me more about Tommy. I just did not really get that interested in Sean because I didn't know Sean. We found out later how good Sean was, but Tommy, you were that good that I would have taken you whether your brother was spectacular or not. I didn't know if the admissions office would believe me that I had a 5'2" kid who was very, very good and extremely talented. So I wrote an email to the admissions office. Unfortunately, with a year of COVID, I was able to actually find an email, look through enough sent items, you can get it. Part of the email I wrote about Tommy as a 13, 14-year-old. Tommy came to our GA summer camp and displayed the glove to someday be a star at shortstop, and the bat and speed we need to be a potent offensive attack. You need to see the kid hit. I would not change a thing about his swing. That was age 13 or 14. I wouldn't change a thing about your swing today. I was so excited they decided to apply to GA. I needed the help of Sherry Chadwin. I don't know if Sherry's here tonight, but I had to race to Sherry and say, Sherry, is the admissions office going to believe me that there's two brothers who are about 5'2" and they're spectacular? I really did a hard sell on Doc Coyle, who's here, but Doc, you really believed in me, you believed in GA. While you were in the admissions process and before the boys were admitted, Doc, you wrote an email to me on December 16, 2004. Yes, Doc, 2004. Tommy and Sean want to go to GA. I want them to be happy, well-educated, and grow athletically as well as socially. My wife and I think GA is the best school in the area and are happy the boys have a strong desire to enroll there. From 2004, Doc, I hope we prove you proud, and I can see socially from the amount of friends in the audience, I think good things happen at GA, and you were right, and thank you and Tony for supporting them and sending them our way. I knew Tommy would be a perfect fit back in 2004. I don't know, emails were still a thing, but I don't know how important they were, but I still remember this day when Tommy changed his email address before he stepped foot in GA, tcpatriot5@comcast.net. He wanted to be a Patriot. I knew I had my guy. As a freshman, he started for us. He was tremendous. Started second base, batted in the 2-hole, wound up hitting .420 that year, batting average. If you don't know baseball, they basically say if you hit 300, get 3 out of 10 hits, you're in the Hall of Fame. He batted .420 as a freshman. Most people couldn't believe that this little guy was starting at second base, but you had to see him play. You saw him play, and you finally realized how good he was. Tommy was first-team All-League as a freshman at GA. Most importantly, as a second baseman on that team as a freshman, Tommy was a champion. 2006 Interact champions, the last baseball champion we had at GA, and Tommy, you were a key part of that. Should know better. I thought that was Jason Deville waiting his turn to come up. Jason Deville was captain on the 2006 team. Sorry he can't be here tonight. Jason Deville has said about you, Tommy, although young and shy, Tommy was an important pillar of the GA 2006 Interact Championship team. His strong work ethic and limitless talent was something I admired. Tommy was the epitome of a ball player, and I am honored to share the field with him. Tommy is very deserving of the GA Hall of Fame. And lastly, if Tommy's acceptance speech is more than 5 minutes long, all of you will have heard Tommy speak more words in one night than I heard in an entire year. Congratulations, Tommy, from Jason Deville, your captain. Tommy continued sophomore year. We moved him from second base to shortstop, where he continued to have a great glove, wound up hitting .435, also Interact first team. Johnny Barr, who was on that team with him, Johnny wound up going to UVA, while Tommy went on to go to UNC. They were rivals, but once upon a time, you were teammates. Johnny Barr sent a message to you. You knew you could count on Tommy every game. He was consistently excellent. He was also extremely modest and made everyone around him a better player. I am so proud to say I played with Tommy Coyle, from Johnny Barr. Junior year, Tommy again increased his batting average, hitting .471 while playing shortstop. That year, the GA team won the Pennsylvania Independent School State Tournament. The captain on that team, catcher Big Cat Joe Conaway, sends his regards from Florida to you. Joe Conaway said, Tommy made difficult stuff look effortless. Even his slides look cool. It was humbling to have him as a teammate. Watching him hit and field made you realize how far you had to go to be on that level. He was never intimidated and never unsure of himself. Also, Tommy was good to sit next to on a plane because he didn't take up a lot of space. That's from the Big Cat, Joe Conaway. Senior year, Tommy continued for excellence, played shortstop, hitting .468. On his entire GA career, he graduated as the leading hit guy in the history of Germantown Academy baseball with 168 hits, eventually broken by none other than Sean Coyle. Tommy, out of 168 hits, small guy, packed a lot of power, 70 extra base hits. Probably the most important stat of Tommy, if you want to know his career, is he never hit below .420 in his whole career. That's consistently excellent. Tommy is the only player in Interacademic League baseball history to be 4-time first-team All-Interac. There was one pitcher who did it, but no other position player has done it, and that's because pitching is a little bit more able to dominate, where hitting you have to be consistently excellent, as they said. 4-time first-team All-Interac. Tommy, you're in a class to yourself. Tommy went on to North Carolina, scholarship player, played second base and shortstop, competed in the College World Series. Best year he had was he hit .311. Played 3 years at North Carolina, then was drafted by the Major League Baseball draft by the Tampa Bay Rays. He wound up continuing to hit for power, run for speed. He had 421 minor league hits, 24 home runs, 120 stolen bases. Tommy did go back, and we're very thankful you did. A lot of Major League or pro guys don't do it. Go back, get your degree, and it was a job well done. Tommy, you were a joy to coach. You're every coach's dream. Not only do you have the talent, the 5 tools we talk about, hit for average, hit for power, speed, be able to be able to throw and field. You never had any excuses. You worked hard all the time. You hustled. You have influenced people's lives you don't know because you have made people believe that a small left-handed hitter, infielder, can be something special, wear the Patriot uniform, and win. TC Patriot 5, I'm so proud of you. I'm honored to have been your coach. I'm thrilled to watch you grow up into the man you are. And please come up here. Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, John. That was awesome. I knew expected a lot of big things, but that certainly set the bar pretty high. If you're gonna mention that I'm 5'2", though, you could at least say I grew 7 inches in high school. Wasn't 5'2" the whole time. But thank you and good evening, GA staff, family, friends, and fellow inductees. It's truly an honor to be here tonight and celebrate and share this special distinction with all of you. I'd like to thank everyone part of the Coyle party who made the trip here tonight. I have a ton of people who helped and pushed me to get to this moment, but those here for Sean and me tonight have been extra special along this journey. And speaking of Sean, I'm super pumped to be going in the Hall of Fame with my brother. That makes tonight even more special, and I undoubtedly wouldn't be in this position without him by my side along the way. I'd like to also thank my mom and dad. Both have gone above and beyond what it means to be a great parent. From countless hours of baseball games, practices, and travel to just being there when things aren't going your way. Thank you. It definitely was a team effort to get here, and I can't thank my family enough. So if I'm being honest, it really hasn't hit me how special this honor truly is. It's been 12 years since I graduated from GA, which seems like forever ago, and I can still recall some memories as if they happened yesterday. At the same time, however, those 12 years somehow also feel more like 20, which may be why this has yet to settle in. Now, maybe I'm just still loopy from getting my head cut open a couple short weeks ago, but as I put my introspective hat on, I think I came up with why parts of my GA days feel like both yesterday and an eternity ago. I came up with a sort of metaphor, channeling some of my GA English class days. I'd compare my time at GA to a bridge, connecting those young elementary and middle school years to college life and the present. Relatively speaking, it was a very short bridge, 15 years of basically being a little kid, and then boom, high school flies by, and suddenly you're living independently and you're in the real world. In the grand scheme of things, it's a blip on the radar, which I think accounts for that 20 years ago feeling. But that short amount of time is packed with changes, unknowns, lows, and highs. Those moments establish the memories that feel like they were yesterday, especially the good ones. And I'm very grateful that I had plenty of those, many of which I've shared with the people in this room tonight. GA not only gave me the opportunity to play baseball in the most competitive and prestigious league in the area, it also granted me the opportunity to receive a world-class education. These were both major, glaringly obvious decision factors when deciding to apply here, but GA also unknowingly connected me to some truly unique and special people. The people I met during my GA journey and opportunities GA provided me, as cliche as it sounds, opened doors that I, one, never knew existed, and two, never thought were possible. There are too many important connections that were made through GA to detail right now, but I can tell you that they were all significant, and I would not have accomplished everything mentioned tonight without every single one of them. So I'll close with this. GA presented me every opportunity a high school student athlete could ask for. Obviously, a lot of things had to bounce my way, and there was maybe a little bit of hard work involved. But looking back, it was the connections and people that I encountered through GA that set the stage for tonight. I'd like to congratulate all the inductees one more time on the big night and thank everyone who came out for Sean and me. None of this would have been possible without your guys' love, support, and confidence. Thank you.
So sorry about that. So presenting for Tommy Coyle, class of 2009, was John Cross, class of '89. Now presenting for Sean Coyle, class of 2010, is Craig Conlon.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Happy Veterans Day. Coach Scholberg, thank you for your service. Before I begin, I would like to congratulate all the athletes and teams being inducted this evening into the GA Hall of Fame. Much deserved and well earned. Congratulations. I was extremely proud when Sean Coyle asked me to introduce and induct him into the GA Hall of Fame. Ever since my assistant coach, John Cross, who you've just heard from, way too long, by the way, John, worked so hard to bring both Tommy and Sean Coyle to GA, I have always had a special place in my heart for the entire Coyle family. I vividly remember bringing Tommy and Sean home with my own children after many baseball practices since we all lived in Chalfont. I will never forget Tommy never making a sound the entire ride home, but Sean not shutting up the entire way home. My kids and I would rush into the house and laugh over the dinner table, telling my wife, the Irish princess, stories about the Coyle boys on the field, but also on those rides home, excuse me. But about Sean Coyle, I believe Sean Coyle to be one of the greatest baseball players to have ever played here at GA. As his coach, I had never seen such a combination of power, athleticism, speed, baseball IQ, and an incredible work ethic. Sean was also an outstanding role model to his teammates and an amazing competitor. He was the perfect student-athlete to coach. Polite, respectful, showed up early, worked hard, stayed late, and was always a great teammate to others. Reporters, coaches, and everyone would ask me, "Are you really starting an 8th grader on a varsity baseball team?" And my response was always the same. I would smile and said, "Have you seen this young man play?" As an 8th grader, Sean actually had the key RBI against Malvern Prep to win us the championship. The numbers and stats, they're staggering. Sean Coyle was a 5-year varsity baseball player for the Patriots, and he helped GA win a share of the Interact title in 2006 and 2 state titles in 2008 and 2010 during his career. During his 5-year high school playing career, the Patriots went 124-30. He set the GA record for home runs in a career with 22 and a single season with 13, as well as hits in a career 190. And he hit 562 as a senior. In the fall of his senior year here, Sean won a gold medal while representing the United States 18 and under team at the 2009 Pan American Junior Championship held in Venezuela. He batted .296 in 8 games, and his teammates were future Major League All-Stars Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. Sean Coyle was named the first team All-American team in 2010 by Baseball America, named the Gatorade Pennsylvania Baseball Player of the Year, Philadelphia Daily News City Player of the Year, the Philadelphia Inquirer Southeastern Pennsylvania Player of the Year. He was named first team All-Interac in his sophomore, junior, and senior year, and he was the Interac's most outstanding player his senior year. Wow. Following his senior season here, Sean signed a national letter of intent with the University of North Carolina to join his brother, but he was drafted by the Boston Red Sox in the 3rd round of the 2010 draft and decided to go pro. Coyle played pro baseball from 2010 to 2017. He reached the AAA level with the Pawtucket Red Sox in 2015 and was named to the Boston Red Sox 40-man roster from 2014 to 2016. Shawnee also spent time with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and Baltimore Orioles organizations. In total, Coyle, an infielder, finished his pro career hitting .234 with 70 home runs after 2,029 at-bats and 579 games played. For his efforts on the field, Sean was recently named to the 40-year All-City First Team by the Philadelphia Daily News. He's the only GA player named to the first team on that All-City 40-year team. Coyle recently earned a degree in finance from Temple University's Fox School of Business, magna cum laude, in 2020, and he's currently employed as a valuation consultant at CFGI in Philadelphia. And it is my extreme honor to introduce and induct Sean Coyle into the Germantown Academy Hall of Fame.
Much better. Not quite 5'2", but not quite 7'2", is it, Craig? All right, thank you, Craig, John, and Tommy for the warm introductions. First off, let's give a hand to Heather Durkin and Tim Ginter for putting together such a great event and bringing us all together despite all the challenges within the last year. Thank you, Heather and Tim. I didn't see Heather around, but thank you. Congratulations to all the inductees tonight. It's an incredible honor to stand among such a talented group. It truly is. It's great to be back on campus. The new school looks beautiful. I'd love to get a tour sometime. It'd be awesome. So I'll be back for that. I want to say thank you to Rich Shellhouse and the administration and the staff at GA for giving us all the incredible resources, both academically and athletically. GA truly is a special place where there are abundant opportunities to turn dreams into reality, and for that, I'm forever grateful. I'd like to thank all the coaches here tonight. I'd like to thank Craig Conlon and John Cross and Charlie McGeehan, for that matter, specifically, for giving me the opportunity to make an impact at the varsity level as an 8th grader. I can't imagine that this was a popular decision at the time, and I appreciate your overwhelming confidence in me. And I'm sorry I missed the Malvern game for a field trip. It was a good field trip. And we won anyway. I guess we could have been solo champs, but anyway. So I've been blessed to be reunited with Craig Conlon while I've been coaching baseball at Holy Ghost Prep for the last few years. And I've really come to understand the extent of time, effort, passion, and definitely patience required to coach at the high school level. I just want to let all the coaches know here tonight, thank you so much for your dedication and for making such a difference in so many people's lives. Thank you. Speaking of time and dedication, yes, give it up for him. Speaking of time and dedication, I'd also like to thank my parents for the countless hours. I think that's going to be a theme tonight, countless hours. The countless hours that they spent helping my brother and I realize our dreams. Thank you, Mom, for dedicating so much of your life to our development, from chaperoning field trips to racing the train to the Colmar station in the morning to make sure that we got to school on time, to traveling the country with Tommy and I. There was nothing that you wouldn't do to help us, so thank you. To my dad, our fearless leader, thank you for instilling in me the competitive fire and tireless work ethic required to succeed on the field and in life. Thank you for the nights that you'd meet us at the ball field, enter a dirty porta potty, and change out of your work button down into your 90s short shorts and practice with us until it was too dark to see. Even Clark Kent would be impressed by the speed of those wardrobe changes, and throughout the years, your ability to coach us, attend our games, and balance your work schedule has been nothing short of a superpower. Thank you, Dad. There are so many more people that I'd like to thank, but my time is limited up here. So thank you to my wife, Jenna. Thank you to my family members and friends who also came out tonight. This is such a great honor for not only Tommy and me, but for everyone here, because we definitely couldn't have done it without you. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Next up, presenting for Claire Crippen, class of 2007, are Maddie Crippen-Planky, 98, and Teresa Crippen, 2008.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us. My name's Maddie, and I am here with my sister to introduce our other sister, Claire, into this great Hall of Fame. Leadership. Sports seem to be the most obvious introduction to it, but it really starts at birth. We have parents, we have siblings. They lead us during the most natural moments, and we learn from those situations. The Crippen family was no different. Claire was born when I was 8 and Fran was 4. We had this living thing down. And frankly, Claire came in and fit nicely into our little pack. She was quiet, she hung close to Mom, she was the perfect little sister. It was a great life for 16 months. And then Teresa was born. Our life was turned upside down. Well, for everyone except Claire. Even at 1.5, she seemed to embrace the change. She knew exactly where she needed to be and what she needed to do. She was Claire, and she was special.
Because Mom and Dad had the best surprise ever, me, I was lucky enough to do everything besides my sister. From ballet recitals, I pouted, Claire danced. Little league games, I fought with the umps, Claire hit the balls. Soccer games, I kicked a girl, Claire kicked the goals. And swim meets, where I debated Schoelberg and Claire swam. No matter how you slice it, we were a package deal. I saw Claire go from a fellow bowl-cut kid to brace face, to the approachable one, the nice one, the one that always silently pulled everyone together. From our Crippen family to our GA family to her UVA family, she had the quiet confidence that became the foundation of her leadership style. She knew what direction to head and always stepped forward with purpose. This quality was never more evident than when Claire returned to GA after her college years to coach with Schoelberg. It was a time of great change at GA, and just like she did in 1990 when I was born, she moved forward into that change with purpose. During those years, she evolved from student to educator, athlete to coach, friend to mentor. This time wasn't easy for anyone at GA, particularly Claire, but she navigated it with grace and confidence she had honed as an athlete and as a student in these very halls.
There are many reasons Claire's being inducted into this Hall of Fame. Her athletic success, her leadership, her confidence. And there are a lot of people behind those accolades. Her coach from college, Mark Bernardino, our parents, and of course, Schoelberg. None of the Crippens would be here without Schoelberg. And it was Mr. Fennerty and his insistence on her induction that made tonight a reality. It started nicely with an email. Maddie, I need you to give me some stats on Claire. Don't forget. To calling me, Maddie, get it done. To texting me, Maddie, I needed it yesterday. To finally, like the good old high school days where he called my dad, and then my dad called me and said, Maddie, send Fennerty the stats. It brought back lots of great memories. Fennerty believed in Claire. He believed in her confidence and its effect on the academy and its storied swim team.
Claire's story was different than mine and my siblings. What led her to the podium was more complex and, truthfully, more impactful. Claire carved her own path. The runt of our litter, she never seemed intimidated with other success or unsure of her own path. That path always had balance of hard work and innate appreciation of both the moment and the journey. Claire never was and never is in a rush to get to the next thing or the next person. She was comfortable to sit by your side, just like she did with my mom some 30 years ago, and just chat. In fact, if you'd venture down to the pool deck from 2003 to 2007, you would most likely see Claire and Scholberg sitting on the side of the pool, chatting, while everybody else was swimming. But Claire has always been able to take the time, really engage, and offer her whole self. Claire's swimming accomplishments are many, but her as a whole person is who got her to be inducted into the Hall of Fame and is Hall of Fame worthy.
Good evening. Thank you to my sisters for that lovely induction and for keeping it PG, and I appreciate it. It is so great to see so many familiar faces tonight and be back on campus celebrating such a prestigious group of alumni and distinguished coaches on their induction into the Germantown Academy Hall of Fame. I first want to congratulate my fellow inductees. Each inductee has a remarkable resume. I am truly honored to be inducted into this Hall of Fame alongside each of you. Congratulations. Someone close to me is quick to point out that I often introduce myself as, quote, the run of the litter amongst the Crippen siblings. I don't want to rehash the night that I met that handsome guy from Episcopal Academy, but I think that line actually worked for me a few times in my life. That someone and I have a goofy dog, a happy, healthy, and gosh darn it, spunky daughter, and we just so happen to call each other husband and wife. That's right, I married an EA churchman. 5.5 years later, still can't tell you what that mascot really is. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm ecstatic that this runt is finally joining her siblings in the GA Hall of Fame, a feat that Mr. Fennerty worked tirelessly to achieve during his tenure at GA, as my sisters pointed out. I have him to thank. Thank you, Mr. Fennerty. It is no secret that GA swimming was hard. We spent most of our time arriving at 340 Morris Road in the dark, and we wouldn't leave until after 6 p.m. It's no wonder why my junior advisor kindly told my mom that she should invest in a light box. Vitamin D was severely lacking amongst us swimmers. We would get out of morning practice at 7:42 to rush shower and get changed all before 8:05 so that Miss Honeycutt wouldn't lock us out of morning meeting. Then we would rush to leave morning meeting before Mr. Martin or Mr. Haney would find us and yell at us for leaving our backpacks in the cubbies. Never. It's okay. We would then spend all day going to class and studying, and yes, sometimes we did need those helpful reminders to keep our eyes open. Thank you, Doc, and your table slaps. While 2:50 marked the end of the day for most students, we still had the hardest 3 hours in front of us. All this to say, I spent a lot of time at the pool during my high school years. My teammates, this sport, and this school, along with my coaches, undoubtedly shaped my life. Thank you to my teammates, to Scholberg, to Lear, to Stu, Mr. Wetzel, and Mrs. Bradley for pushing me to grow beyond my limit. My roots run deep here at GA. I have experienced this community as a student athlete, a proud alumni, a coach, a nurse who's cared for GA students after they've had surgery at CHOP, and most recently, as a wife of a coach at a rival high school. It has become clear to me that there's something special about GA students. It's the confidence, the pride, the compassion, the work ethic. GA students practice longer, they study harder, they relish in their success, and they hold their heads up high after defeat. It is the teachers and coaches, like Mr. Martin here, along with Ms. Hoffman, Mrs. Bradley, Ms. Goldstein, Ms. Krause, Ms. Wexler, Mr. Haney, Mr. Connor, Mr. David, Mr. Fennerty, Conlon, McVeigh, Doc, and Schoeburg, all who worked tirelessly to create an environment for their students to succeed in and day out. This next generation of teachers have big shoes to fill, but I know Mr. Shellhouse, and Mr. Shellhouse only surrounds himself with the best. And because of that, I have no doubt that GA will continue to produce top-level students who continue the tradition and legacy of Germantown Academy. Before I end, I want to thank my family. To my Kelly family, thank you for supporting my family and me each and every day. You are some of my biggest cheerleaders, and I am beyond thankful to have you in my corner. To my parents, the list of thank yous is endless. We would be here for days. The values, the support, the sacrifices, and the love were the building blocks I needed to succeed at GA and beyond. To my siblings, Maddie and Fran, thank you for allowing me to follow in your footsteps. Of course, there would be none of this if it wasn't for the two of you. And for Teresa, thank you for tagging along every step of the way. You were my security blanket. And sisters, to quote Maddie, if I didn't have you, I'd have no one. We make a pretty great team, and our kids are pretty cute. And finally, thank you to my GA family. Mrs. Bradley, Miss Goldstein, Miss Hoffman, Miss Kraus, Lori, Schoeburg, McVeigh, Mr. Connor, Mr. Fennerty, and so many more. Thank you for taking a risk. You nurtured me, you challenged me, you supported me during my darkest of days, and you gave me the confidence I needed to go out into the world. Thank you for giving me a home for so many years. I'm beyond thankful. These days, you might find me wearing navy and white, occasionally saying, "Go Episcopal," but to quote my brother, I will always bleed red, black, and blue. Go GA.
Presenting for Amanda Jones Vaughn, class of 2008, are Kirk Jones, 2005, and Bo Jones, 2011.
Hey, everybody. We're really excited to be here. I'm Kirk Jones. I graduated in 2005 from GA, and I'm the older brother of Amanda Jones Vaughn, who's sitting right down there.
And I'm Bo Jones, class of 2011, Amanda's younger brother, and very pumped to be here and honor our sister. So we come from a pretty competitive family. The three of us siblings, and then my two parents, Jeannie and Jeff Jones over there. Definitely the first time I've ever admitted this, and probably will be the last, but Amanda was and is probably the best athlete in our family.
I hope you recorded that. So I was 3 years older than Amanda. Like I mentioned, I graduated in 2005, and I think when you're a senior, you definitely, I think you're pretty important when you're on campus. Everybody knows who you are. So I graduate. I'm a freshman in college, and I never had the opportunity to overlap with Amanda because she transferred in as a sophomore, even though we were only 3 years apart. But I came back the next year, and I'm going around seeing people, and it was as if I had been gone for about 20 years. It was Amanda this, Amanda that. Oh yeah, you're Amanda's older brother. I think I remember you. She had very quickly established herself across the school, but also on a athletic basis across lacrosse, field hockey, and basketball, and had made an impact with lacrosse being clearly kind of the standout sport. And for me, I had always been older than Amanda, but growing up, you have a sense of when your sibling is really working hard at something, committing a lot of time and practicing, and you got to see a little bit that she was starting to excel in a local competitive basis. But it's always hard to know how that translates when you move up to a high school and compete on a regional and national level. And so.
Yeah, I being 3 years younger than Amanda, I had a little different experience. Growing up, I took a lot of losses when battling head-to-head with my big sister. She showed me from an early age that competing with her in anything was indeed going to be a competition, and that I always had to bring it. Also being younger, I had the privilege of joining her and my parents for countless AAU basketball tournaments, field hockey games, and lacrosse tournaments all up and down the East Coast. It was very apparent from an early age that she was one of the best, if not the best, regardless of the sport or the team that she was a part of. In lacrosse, she was clearly capable of scoring whenever she wanted. However, she brought a more point guard aspect to the sport and was a facilitator, making sure the best play was being made. Her high school coach, Jenny Hoffman, said, Amanda was a great balance of kind and sweet with fierce and competitive. Her skill and ability to see the whole field made her an amazing player, and she always put the team first. I loved working with her on and off the field. In addition to her skills, Amanda was and is to this day one of the hardest working people that I know. Whether it's in sports, work, or being a mom, Amanda puts 100% in no matter what it is. Longtime teammate, close friend, and fellow GA Hall of Famer, Conlon said, Amanda is the true definition of a competitor and teammate. She showed up every single day, ready to work, and made everyone around her better. She dominated the field in an unselfish way that was truly rare to see. Fast forward to my freshman year, and similar to my brother Kirk, I was also known as Amanda's brother. At this point, she was already committed to Duke and a national name in the lacrosse world. Her accolades included, for field hockey, she helped lead her teams to 2 Interact championships. She was first team All-Interact for field hockey. In lacrosse, she was also a captain. She set the record at GA for the most assists in a season and most career assists, and please note this is while only playing in 3 seasons. Additionally, Amanda ended her career at GA second in season goals, second in season points, second in career goals, and second in career points. She was the 2018 MVP, first team All-Interact for 3 of the years, first team All-Philly Lacrosse, 2-time first team All-State, and 2-time All-American. And lastly, she was named the Heather Lee Albert Award, which is given to the top national player in the country. So when talking about my sister, I can't leave out her impact in the classroom and hallways as well. Amanda was a member of the All-Academic Team, Academy Club, representative for the Positive Coaching Alliance, and her favorite thing being a CSO leader and working with Mr. McVeigh.
So as Amanda, when I'm the next year in college, I get a call from Amanda, and she says, so I need your advice. I need to figure out where I want to go to college. I have offers, full scholarship lacrosse offers from Duke, Northwestern, and Maryland, which were at the time, which were the top 3 programs in the country for lacrosse, and as well all very elite academic institutions, obviously. So she ends up at Duke, as Bo just alluded to. And while at Duke, she played in 66 games over her career from her freshman through senior year. They were perennially a top 5 team in the country at the college level. She played in every single game her sophomore, junior, and senior season, finishing with 63 points across 48 goals and 15 assists. Her sophomore season was highlighted by her goal and an assist in the team's NCAA tournament win over Vanderbilt. As a junior and senior, Amanda was a regular starter. Her junior year included scoring hat tricks against both Northwestern and Virginia Tech, as well as scoring 5 goals in 1 game against Boston College. That year concluded with her team making it to the NCAA tournament semifinals for the Final Four in women's NCAA lacrosse. As a senior, her statistical highlights included 2 hat tricks, or scoring 3 goals again, against both Georgetown and Virginia Tech, as well as scoring a goal in the final game of her career in the NCAA tournament quarterfinals against Northwestern. Her academic honors at Duke included being named to the Atlantic Coast Conference All-ACC squad and the ACC Academic Honor Roll. Amanda, it's been amazing for me, Bo, your family, friends, and a lot of people here to see all of your hard work, practice, commitment, and dedication play out and come to fruition over the course of your career. It's such an amazing way, certainly from an athletic basis, but also as well as off the field. In addition to being one of the best lacrosse players in Germantown Academy's history, we also know how much this school, as well as the people, a lot of whom are in this room, that you met while here and the relationships that you built, how special that is to you. And so we couldn't be happier, and it's our honor to introduce our sister, Amanda Jones Vaughn, into the GA Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations. We love you. That's all ours, right?
Right. I don't know what's more surreal, getting this award or having my brothers wax on about me for that long. I'm definitely saving the recording for a future sibling debate down the line. But hi, thank you. Thank you, Tim and Rich. Thank you, Heather Durkin, and everyone who worked to make this day happen over the past 2 years, through hell or high water, clearly in here. And a big congrats to my fellow student athletes and coaches and teams here today. It is such an honor to be included in this group and very humbling. And thank you to my fabulous presenters and brothers. Again, I swear this was not some sister-sibling bragging moment having them talk about me today, not completely at least. But actually my brothers are a great place to start, as they are a vital part to why I'm here today. Kirk's experience, both academically and athletically, gave me a peek into the world of GA, and it was an integral motivator for me to come here. And despite him having the entire basketball team serve as bodyguards when I transferred here, I have always loved and still love being Kirk Jones's sister. And you see, I can remember it completely different than these two, because I have always either been Kirk Jones's sister or Bo Jones's sister. And it swiftly just skipped over me. It was Kirk Jones's sister, and then all of a sudden I was a senior, but Bo's a freshman and I'm Bo Jones's sister. But I honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. They gave me all of the tough love in driveway pickup games and basement soccer matches and run the bases on the beach. But they also were my biggest cheerleaders, my favorite teammates, and forever role models. I love having the two of you in my corner and being in each of yours. Your teammates have always felt like my teammates. Your wins have felt like my wins. Your coaches have felt like my coaches. I think Fennerty and Conlon kept me out of trouble a few times more than they bargained for, but I am forever grateful for the two of you. And between the three of us, my brothers and I represent so much of what my parents instilled in us from day one. Hard work, teamwork, respect. They valued a thank you note or a hard-won test grade just as much as a hat trick or a trophy. They pushed us to not only better ourselves, but better those around us, on and off the field. They exposed me to every sport, supported every hobby, and rooted me on with gusto, whether I was tap dancing or spin moving. They also always picked me up if I was falling or failing. Being a parent myself, and I'm less than 2 years into the gig, so what do I know? But it has given me a tiny glimpse into just how much time and energy and cost goes into raising a human, let alone when it entails early practice times or piles of equipment or long trips to even longer tournament days, often in the rain or in a hot July Saturday when you could be at the beach. But I am forever grateful and in debt to my parents for everything that they have given and sacrificed for me and my brothers. GA gave me so much, and I'm going to get to that, but none of it would have been possible without the two of you giving me the gift of GA and everything else for that matter. So thank you. And now for GA. The lessons I learned in these halls and on these fields, although these halls and fields were slightly less sleek in my day, I have to admit, but the lessons learned and the caliber of people who you are learning or playing from and with, the wins, the losses, it has all unequivocally shaped who I am today, and so much of a reason for the opportunities and experiences I've had since graduating. And for the coaches and teachers, I've always appreciated how much GA teachers and coaches approach their job with equal parts, wanting to help guide and push their student athletes, but also listen to them, respect them, support them. They aimed for the best, but also understood that that path and definition of best looks different for everyone. Whether it was around a Harkness table or around a team huddle, you truly felt that support. And then you see the fruits of that labor, not only in high school, but especially when you're in college or anywhere since. And when there typically might be a learning curve or a shell shock for some, there typically isn't for a GA grad. You're set up for success and given the tools to achieve that success. I have such an immense appreciation for all of the teachers and coaches I have learned from, whether directly or indirectly, especially Miss Ginny Hoffman and Brooke Watson. I selfishly or luckily got to have both of them for 2 sports seasons every school year. And I always felt so empowered by you, Ginny. And you continue to inspire me by how you not only prioritize the fundamentals of sports and winning and whatnot, but you also always had my best interest at heart and all of your student athletes. You expanded my experience to be so much more than just a field hockey or a lacrosse commitment. You emphasize what doors athletics can open for you and how to live those opportunities in life in general to the fullest. She also was a heck of a lot of fun. She would not only take us to the best budding high school lacrosse team in California to play, but she also knew all of the best agenda at Universal Studios, and then she would know the best dive bar in Florida where there's karaoke, and then, she made life fun, and she made it all about sports, but also at the same time, so much more than that. And I'm lucky to have so many memories of you throughout my life before GA and during GA and since, and I'm so, so grateful. From start to finish, and now as an alum, I have always been incredibly proud to be a GA Patriot. I always knew GA was a special place, and as someone who transfers in, you really value that too. But I don't think it truly hits you quite as much until you leave. Once in college or anywhere since, I've had such a profound gratitude and appreciation for Germantown Academy and all that it provides. You realize that it's rare, it's different. You have immense pride that you went here. For the teammates and players that you play with and learn from, like to have this small association with the people of like the athletes you're hearing about tonight, the teammates that make you better, like Miss Colleen McGarity, although you pronounce GAPC a little differently these days. But the reason I was second in so many records is because of her, and I will forever give you an assist in life and on the field, and you made my GA experience what it was. But I've always been so proud. I'm proud to bring my in-laws here. I'm proud to bring my current family and future family here. I am so proud to be a part of the GA community and to be a part of this night. So thank you so much.
Leave it to nights like tonight for the truth to come out. Amanda, I think you won, but in case you need it, we do have the video for the next Jones debate. Presenting for Dave Martin, class of 1760, is Jeff Martin, class of 2011.
Good evening. So I've been chosen by the siblings to share some thoughts, so that's my honor. So over the course of the last couple months, I've been peppering my dad with some questions about his career, trying to find ways to contextualize 38 years, asking questions about stats, about teams, about successes, lists, achievements, everything, And often he'd humor the question, he'd give me some thoughts, but always he opened with this one refrain, which is, why does that matter? And I ended up kind of coming to the realization after hundreds of questions that this stubbornly persistent response is precisely the reason why David Martin's a Hall of Fame head coach. The key to David Martin as a coach, the numbers don't matter to him at all, really, which in the competitive world of pay-to-play athletics is basically anachronistic. People can say that they coach because it's about the kids. Few people actually show it day in and day out, and then show it day in and day out for close to 40 years. As far as I can tell, you don't work a lifetime in teaching while simultaneously giving your afternoons to coach 2 sports a year because you need to win or be the best. The reason David shows up year after year, season after season, working 10 to 13-hour days is because he understands what all the best coaches inherently grasp. Teaching is about relationships. It's about connections, and it's about investing time and energy into building those connections. David Martin's a Hall of Famer because he's always recognized that these relationships that he builds with his players remains foundational to the value of athletics at Germantown Academy. Our dad possesses a quiet gravity to him. He has a way of gently bringing you into orbit with him. It's not something people usually notice actively, but it's usually pretty evident given how many students he tends to attract towards him. Even to this day, again, for decades of doing it. I think this gravity relies on a few fundamental truths. 1, David Martin is ceaselessly dependable. 2, he's utterly dedicated to the betterment of the people around him. 3, he persistently strives for his personal best. 4, he's comfortable engaging with a vast array of differing ideologies. And 5, he's unfalteringly humble in his perpetual pursuit of crafting resilient and ambitious teams. In short, David's an ideal leader, and twice over given that he simultaneously is the type of person who is determined to avoid personal accolades at all costs. Being a great teacher is rarely about developing the best game plan or being the most knowledgeable in your field. It's much more common that a successful teacher possesses a high capacity to engage with a wide variety of students they work alongside. You have to build a team, an atmosphere, and you need to build that atmosphere in a way that makes people want to invest in it, in a way that makes them want to be a part of it, and in a way that makes them care. Our Father's gravity applies regardless of the space he occupies, and it's his endless dedication to forging relationships predicated on bettering his students that affords him the ability to time and again develop strong athletic programs for this community. Tonight, while we proudly celebrate David Martin, among many other worthy inductees, we're also celebrating all the family, students, athletes, teachers, administrators, staff, and coaches that David has had alongside for the ride. In short, we believe our father's a Hall of Fame coach because of his inimitable capacity to care and be selfless for 38 straight years and counting. Thank you and congratulations, Dad.
Still need my glasses to do this sort of thing. Good evening. Jeffrey, thank you for your kind words. Thank you to Katie and Will for their support of you doing that. They mean the world to me. I want to congratulate my fellow inductees tonight, both the individuals and the teams. I've been fortunate enough to have seen all of them compete. They are all excellent athletes and great representatives of their sport and their teams. Actually, I'll go away from my script for a moment. Damon and I were talking. I actually coached Damon in 1990 in 9th grade football. It was an awesome experience. There were about 16 or 17 students that played. They didn't have to go with the varsity, often practicing till 6 or 6:30 at that time. They got to transition into the school, and lo and behold, I think almost every one of the students who were there continued playing throughout their entire career when they were here, and they're still friends with one another after all this time, which is a great accolade for those guys to do that. For me, tonight is all about gratitude and saying lots of thank yous. For someone who's been involved in athletics for over 55 years, that will take up all of my time. To my wonderful wife, Laura, thank you. Your support over the years has meant everything to me. You've always been there for me and for my teams, and I appreciate it more than words can express. To my kids, Katie, class of 2008, Jeff, class of 2011, Will, class of 2020, and our latest addition to our family, my son-in-law, Chot. I know it can be challenging sometimes to have your parent coaching as much as I have, so thank you for sharing me. I did have the pleasure of coaching Katie in youth soccer, Jeff and Will in lacrosse here at GA. Those are memories, those are some of the fondest memories I have, and I will cherish them for the rest of my life. I was blessed to grow up in a wonderfully supportive family. My parents, Mel and Pearl Martin, are no longer with us, but they'd be very excited if they were still alive. My mom was a longtime teacher who was always very proud of her baby. I am the youngest of 4. No matter how old I was, my mom always called me her baby. My dad attended almost every game I played in high school and college and was a huge supporter. The stars actually must be aligned because today is the celebration of Veterans Day, as Rich pointed out earlier. My dad was a very proud Marine who volunteered and served during the Second World War. My parents provided me and my brothers with many valuable lessons in our formative years: family, hard work, dedication, loyalty, kindness, just to name a few. These qualities have stuck with me for a lifetime. All 3 of my brothers, Jay, Ted, and Steve, are here to celebrate with me tonight. I thank them for their lifetime of memories and for playing a huge role in who I am today. Here's to the memories to come. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my 2 lacrosse coaches, Fran McCall at Bethpage High School and Dick Garber at the University of Massachusetts. Both are members of the U.S. Lacrosse National Hall of Fame. Their styles were polar opposite. Stephen laughs, that's true. But I learned so many lessons from both of them, and they helped guide me into coaching and teaching. Next, I'd like to thank 3 special people here at GA. In September of 1984, Ted Haney, my now friend of over 40 years, called me to tell me about a job here at GA to see if I was interested. I was interviewed and hired a week later by then head of school, Bud Cast, at halftime of the GA Hill School football game. That's a true story. Since then, we've had many good times together at school, at home, on vacation. Ted, thanks for giving me a call that day. I met Will Oakers my first day of working at GA. I actually came, my first day was back to school night, and we went over to what was called Marita's Cantina across the way. I quickly learned that he was everyone's go-to person. What took me a little while to realize was that he was the ultimate school person. He was the busiest person on campus, and yet he never said no to anyone. I learned how important it was for schools to have that kind of person working there. Oaks, thanks for all of the quiet lessons I learned from you. The next special person would turn out to be my father-in-law later on, Jim Buckley. What a great mentor he was as a teacher, coach, family man, and a true friend. I learned so much from him over the years, and I've hoped I've been able to pass those lessons on to others. I look forward to spending lots of time together in the coming years. There's still so much for me to learn. To all the students and athletes I have taught and coached, it's been a pleasure to work with each of you. I learned and continue to learn so much from you each and every day. To all the school leaders I've had the pleasure to work with, and in particular to my dear friend Ginny Hoffman, thank you. To all the people I've had the pleasure of coaching with, Ted, Jim, Jason, Jamie, Brian, Dave, Billy, Patrick, Paul, and so many others, thank you. To all the coaches and players of the opposing schools, because you really don't have much of a game if you don't have good opposing schools, it's been a pleasure and an honor to compete against your teams. Finally, thank you for everyone for sharing these special moments with me and the rest of the inductees. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Presenting for Dave Similake, class of 2005, is Patrick Deville, class of 1760.
Good evening and congratulations. My name is Patrick David. I've taught and coached at GA for 37 years, French and Spanish, soccer and volleyball, until retirement 5 years ago. When David Similake asked me to introduce him early this year, he brought back great memories. Goalkeepers have always been a special breed. Always under the spotlight, they need to be fearless, have great confidence, great hands, the ability to command the defense, to stay calm under pressure, and they often make the difference in close games. David Similake exemplifies all of those skills previously mentioned, as he was a main player in GA's nationally ranked team over the course of his high school career. David arrived to preseason as a freshman with a firm intention to win a starting position of a very strong senior. His maturity for his young age was exceptional, his decision-making impeccable, and his ball skills in transition and distribution remarkable. He started every game in his 4th year at GA. Every preseason, the team was invited by McDonough High School in Baltimore to a very selective tournament with many D1 coaches or scouts attending. After our first game against McDonough, the Wake Forest coach asked if David knew where he wanted to play in college. David was a freshman. My best memories is the night we played William Tennant. Line drive corner kick headed by the Tennant striker, I think his name was Dudley, big boy, at the 6-yard line under the crossbar. I swear the head ball and David's save were simultaneous. In French we say claquette, I don't know what it is in English. Unbelievable save. Dave's list of accolades would take too long to share, but being a member of the U18 national pool is one of his best accomplishments. It was a pleasure to coach him, a pleasure to teach him, and also to work with him in summer camp as a coach. Thank you very much, David Similake, and congratulations.
Oh boy. Okay, so naturally, anyone that knows me here probably knows I didn't really prepare anything for this. So I'm just going to thank some people. I'd first, thanks. I'd like to thank Rich, Tim, and Heather for putting this all together, especially with everything that's going on right now. I know that's not easy. They were also emailing an AOL account of mine for months to tell me to send them stuff, which I haven't checked in years. So, but really I'd like to thank my parents. I would not be standing up here without them. They sacrificed so much for me to be able to go to GA and then for me to be able to play soccer. So thank you very much. I'd like to thank my brother because I almost wound up at Penn Charter. The coach was trying to get me to come there, but he told me he'd stuff me in a locker every day if I came. So I'd like to thank my sister for leaving all the athletic genes to me. There's also some coaches here I'd really like to thank, especially Patrick. I'm very lucky to be able to play under you and played with you. You're a very special coach and a special person, and you mean a lot to me. I'd also like to thank Mr. Torrey, Kurt, and Gump, who also did a lot for me while I was here. I'd like to thank Coach Conlon. I know he's surprised that I'm not up here for basketball, but then I'd just like to thank a couple of teachers, Mr. Fennerty, Miss Kraus, Miss Ledwith, Miss Smith, Mr. Brown, Mr. Com, and Miss Honeycutt, who also did a lot for me. And I'll just end on saying coming to GA was the best decision that I ever made. All my best friends to this day went here. Half of them were my wedding party. I've got to thank my wife, too. I forgot about that. Thankfully, she met me way after high school. So, but yeah, I'm very lucky to have been able to come to this school and just meet so many great people. Thanks. Bye.
And presenting for Damon Myers, class of 1994, is Damon Williams via video.
First off, I'd like to thank Coach Fennerty. May he rest in peace. He recruited me and Damon Myers to Germantown Academy back in 1990. When I think of Damon, I think of family and brotherhood. During our tenure at Germantown Academy, we used to joke around and go back and forth who was Damon number 1 and Damon number 2. That was just a competitive spirit in both of us. I always looked up to Damon for his leadership on and off the court, for his intelligence, and for how he's handled adversity. Damon Myers is a loving husband and father, and he's a Navy veteran who served this great country. I am proud and honored to share this special day with Damon because it is truly deserved as he is inducted into the 2021 Germantown Academy Hall of Fame. Thank you.
All right, good evening all. Before we get started, I want to say a happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. You know, I had a plan on what I was planning on saying today, but listening to all the speeches and stuff, I decided to change up a little bit. You know, hearing all the accolades and all the accomplishments from everyone that came up here on stage already, it's truly humbling to be part of that group. So congratulations to all the inductees and teams as well. So, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for 3 people. So I'll start with my middle school football coach, Dean Hangey. He approached me at Stewart Middle School in Norristown and said, I know you have a great path ahead of you. You work hard in classroom, you work hard on the football field. So GA is available for you. It's a good school. He talked to my mother about it. I never heard of it, but being from Norristown, you don't hear about it. And when we found out about it, I was like, okay, if she's okay with it, I'm okay with it. So I came to GA. When I got here, I met Coach Fennerty and Coach Com. Those two have had a lasting impact on my life. You know, Coach Com on the football field taught me so much about perseverance, about dedication, about leadership. And then Coach Fennerty he helped build my confidence. I'm not the most confident person, I haven't been, but he instilled in me that mindset that I can do a lot of things if I just put my mind to it. You know, and then my mother, she put so much on hold just to get me through GA, so I thank her for that. You know, going to college, I wasn't sure where I was going to go, what I wanted to do. Talked to her, was approached about the Naval Academy. Never heard of that either. You know, being here, thought it was the Army Navy, it was actual Army Navy guys playing each other in Philly. But the more I learned about the school and about the opportunities that were available from there, it was an easy, no-brainer decision. You know, I'm not the biggest guy. I was 6'5", playing against centers, 6'10", 6'8", 6'9", so I was undersized. So I knew going to playing sports, college was probably my highest level. So I went to the Naval Academy, thought I would go play basketball there. Played for my freshman year in a prep school and realized I missed football. Football was my number one sport that I loved the most. And played football at Naval Academy for a couple years, and then my junior year I ended up getting sick. And who was there to support me? But GA. Every stage of my life, GA has been there to support me and push me to get further on. When I was deployed, letters in the mail from GA. Come back to the GA to talk to the students, and you know, they're very supportive, very encouraging. So, you know, I thank GA community. I thank you all for having me here tonight, and again, congratulations to all the fellow inductees.
And again, please, one more round of applause for all our individual inductees tonight. As I said earlier, we're going to take about a 15-minute break. There will be light refreshments out where you came in before the event started. I'll see you in about 15. Tonight, we're also lucky enough to be able to induct 4 national champion swim teams. First up is the 1987 girls swim team. Captain Jane Samuels was unable to be here, but we have her video interview with Casey Traina, class of 2022, our student body president.
I'm involved in student government. Hi everybody, my name is Casey Traina. I'm a current senior at GA. I'm involved in student government and basketball, and today we have Miss Samuels from 1987 swim team captain on behalf of her team who's being inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame at GA. I'm going to say a few words, Miss Samuels.
Sure, thanks Casey. Thank you everybody for paying attention to this moment. I'm really honored to be able to accept on behalf of my co-captain, Susie Bukovich, and our team, our fabulous team from 1987, along with our coach, Dick Schoelberg. Really a great honor to be inducted into the Germantown Academy Hall of Fame, and it brings back a lot of really great memories about that team. Schoelberg is a demanding coach, but also a top comedian, especially in his own mind. Always cracking jokes, always looking to have a good time, but really kept the pedal to the metal as far as training goes. So we learned as a team to really hold each other up to the highest standards of integrity and pushing ourselves athletically, holding ourselves up academically. It was definitely a program that instilled quality as a value.
And if one stands above the rest, what would you say your best memory is from swimming at GA?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's hard to identify one thing. I will say that the camaraderie amongst the team, or within the team and amongst the teammates was memorable well beyond our time in the pool. Part of that stemmed from actually spending a lot of time in the pool together, but a lot of it also just stemmed from just the shenanigans that we went through, and the fun times and the really tough times, and just really pulling each other through to raise each other up to be the best we could be.
And with that, what life lessons would you say you learned both swimming at GA and just being a part of the culture?
I think the value of teamwork is something that was instilled in me. It's still something that I rely on in my job, in my life. So just knowing that we have each other's backs, that's an important takeaway. I think also being true to what you say. So if you say you're going to do the work and own it. And if you are not able to do the work or produce at the level that you have committed to, then be honest about that and take measures to kind of get yourself to a track that you can be accountable for. So accountability, I guess, would be a main takeaway.
Yeah. And what advice would you say you have for current GA students?
Advice. I think there's a lot of excellent learning, and there's a lot of athletic drive. Germantown has a huge tradition of really pushing people and really going after things. I remember when I graduated in 87, they were really proud of the fact that 100% of the graduating class was going to go on to college. And I think that kind of drive and push is really important, but it's also important to keep in mind that there's a privilege that comes with having an opportunity like that, to be able to push yourself, to be in a supportive community. And it doesn't mean that we have to feel bad about having those things. It just means that we share it when we can, right? So making sure that if that's the privilege that we are brought up with, that we're sharing that with others, and making sure that we're lifting them up, giving them the support and guidance that they need, and helping them achieve their goals as well.
The members from the 1987 team are here. If you please come and join us on stage. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, please.
Well, we are all blessed to be able to be here. Obviously, we have very few of us here from our team. Jill, come back. And thank you to our co-captains, Jane Samuels, who did an awesome job on the video, and Susie Bukovich, who led our team that year. And we had many great swimmers who were part of that team. And thank you to Scholberg, Coach Scholberg, for being a fearless leader and always ferociously tough as well, I have to add. But we love you dearly. And thank you to all the teammates. We had a lot of guys here who are also part of our training group, obviously, that we work day and night training many, many hours in that pool. And are very thankful to GA, to the athletic directors and the headmaster and all the teachers. I'm sorry, Ms. Skog, if you're here, I'd like to say hello to you. Mr. Hardy, Haney was my favorite Latin teacher. But very blessed to be part of the Germantown Academy system, so thank you.
Next up, we have another video class of 2005 girls swim team. one of the co-captains, Carrie McIlvain Sepich, is here, and her video interview with one of our co-captains this year, senior Lily Aker.
Hi everyone, my name is Lily Acker and I'm here with Carrie McIlvain Sepich, who graduated in 2005 and is a part of the Hall of Fame induction class for women's swimming of 2005. What does it mean for you to be inducted into GA's Hall of Fame, like with your team?
Yeah, I mean, it's such an incredible honor, I think, to think about this 2005 team as being named national champions that year. I know I personally, and I think I can probably speak for a lot of my teammates, when you walk onto the GA pool deck, you can't help but notice the banners that were hanging of former national championship teams. So to actually have one up there with that represents your team is a pretty incredible feeling. Walking up from morning practice up to school every day and kind of walking through all those photos of the Hall of Fame inductees and teams that are in there. It's just an incredible opportunity to be part of something so much bigger than just the swim program at GA, just the Hall of Fame in general, which is just absolutely incredible as Hall of Fames go.
I'm sure you have some good memories from swimming here at GA. Can you share some of them?
Oh my goodness. As anybody knows who was a swimmer at GA or knows anything about swimming at GA, we spent a lot of time together. And I think a lot of those memories are, it's really hard to pinpoint just one memory or just a couple memories really, but I think it's really all about, as much time as we spent together in the pool, we probably spent out of the pool as well by choice. And so just kind of to speak about it comprehensively, just the relationships that we've built, as teammates and beyond has just been incredible. How long our relationships have lasted in life. And, GA swimming is always something that brings us all back together.
What are some life lessons that you've learned from swimming or just being at GA in general?
Yeah, so I think both, athletically and academically, being at GA as a student athlete is demanding, it's time consuming, it's hard work, but the reward at the end of it is just so incredible. So I think some of those life lessons where, I think it's easy to say, we learn a lot about hard work, developing a good work ethic, time management, and all of that are very obvious answers. But I think the greatest thing that I've learned as a student athlete at GA is really the power of those around you. I know from an academic and athletic standpoint, if I didn't have my teammates around me or my fellow peers, they get you through everything.
What was it like to swim under Coach Schoeburg?
It was a lot of the things I just said, very demanding, time consuming. It was hard, but at the same time, it was just an incredible experience. It's hard to summarize in just a few sentences, but at the end of the day, when you look back at it, I think through all of the challenging times, you find one of the most genuine, kindest men you will ever meet in your life. And, as much as some days were really hard, he knew his athletes and everybody so well. And, it was just the most rewarding experience. And I think, today as a teacher myself, I feel like I find myself trying to pull out a lot of those qualities that he had in my experience with him.
The members of the class of 2005 could join us on stage.
would just like to thank Dick Scholberg for everything that he's given our team and everyone who's sitting here in the stands. I wouldn't be, I know I can speak for most people here, professionally or personally, anywhere the person that I am today without him. You're just an incredible mentor. Thank you so much.
Next up is our 1986 boys national champion swim team. Paul Fish and Rob Montgomery are here.
I told Heather I wasn't going to speak, but Ginny Hoffman knows that would never happen. Right, Ginny? 10 years ago today, Molly and I danced at Maddie Crippen's wedding, and her hubby was active duty Coast Guard. So I want to thank everyone that served in the military or their families. So thank you.
You know it's a special night when you have Schoelberg out after 9 o'clock. He will be on the deck tomorrow morning at the Greater Plymouth Community Center by 6 o'clock. So if anybody's looking for a workout, there might be an empty lane next to him, and he'll be more than happy to let you join him. I'm Rob Montgomery, co-captain of the 1986 National Championship Boys Varsity team. My co-captain, Paul Fish. I have to admit, when I first heard that our 1986 National Championship team was being inducted into the GA Athletic Hall of Fame, my first reaction was, what took so long? It's kind of like 25 years too late. But, Bob Pugh, who was one of our assistant coaches that year, who I've remained a close friend of over the years, and some of the other guys on the team suggested it would be a nice thing for Schoelberg, which of course means here we are. And on behalf of the 1986 boys varsity swim team, we appreciate this honor. We thank the GA community for recognizing us and giving us the opportunity 35 years later to reflect on our achievements. And before we go any further, my lifelong friend, Paul Fish, has noted that we do need to thank our parents for sure for giving us the opportunity to attend GA and to swim together and to cart us back and forth long distances at ungodly hours for years on end. And after spending the last week reflecting on our 1986 championship team and the generation of boys varsity swimming that we had the privilege of being a part of, I realized that the timing of this honor is probably better now, as time and age have given us the perspective to better understand and appreciate that what we were all about and what we accomplished. And given that this was the second and the last national championship for the Germantown Academy Boys Varsity Swimming Team, I feel the tremendous responsibility tonight of really giving the summation of what was an amazing run of great high school swimming teams and swimmers. Our 1986 team was a great team, but it really can't be viewed in isolation, as it was really the culmination of a great run of teams and swimmers that began in the early 80s. There was a tradition of grit, determination, and swagger passed down over the years. Stories of what our predecessors did were the thing of legends, and rightfully so. Though most of them aren't in the Hall of Fame, they were great swimmers and leaders who laid the foundation for our 1985 and 1986 national championship teams. Guys like Bart Schneider, Randy Fry, John Moles, Matt DiPietro, Dan Flack, Brett Rose, Codge Whitting, Cy Winery, God bless his soul, and of course Jeff Pryor and Matt Muller, captains of the 85 team. And 35 years later, I am willing to admit that the girls were pretty darn good too. Our success in competition was obvious to anyone paying attention outside the program, and that was most certainly why we are here today as a team. The threshold as a swim team to become a member of the Hall of Fame is you need to win a national championship. So kudos to everybody here and our swimmers and national champions. And so with that bar, we won one of those, and actually most of us on the team won 2 national championships. But I can honestly say that that really wasn't the most special or memorable part of that team, or even more accurately, that era of swimming. The real magic was what happened every day in practice, sometimes 7 hours or more of practice a day. The competition on a daily basis was incredible and inspiring. Swimming can be a difficult sport, but even by swimming standards, the workouts in those days that we did were grueling. Most swimmers just don't do 5-hour races or 10,000 or 15,000 butterflies for training. We did.
I did not do that.
You did not. Paul was happily a middle distance swimmer.
Yes.
But many of us did. And actually, most of the people there, whether if you were a sprinter, you still did distance
5,000
sets.
maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
The workouts and the sets were so grueling, but when your teammates did it, and generations before you did it, it just became something that you did too. And the crazier it was, the more of a badge of honor that it was. And as a young distance swimmer, I can remember watching Codge Whitting, who was a class of 84, go 3 5,000s, holding well under minute pace on each of that, and thought, that's the bar. That's how you succeed. That's how you're tough. The daily intensity made us all better. And at this point, you have to thank the architect who brought us all together in the pool and created the amazing competitive atmosphere on a daily basis, Mr. Scholberg. But not only did the daily insanity that he put us through make us better, though, the best part is it made us closer. This was a team that had swagger and confidence. We all know that teenagers, especially boys, have a great deal of hubris and feeling of invincibility, and we had no shortage of either. Everyone on this team lived for our team, and it wasn't just the most elite athletes that created the culture of GA boys varsity swimming back in those days, and we certainly did have one of the greatest all-time athletes, the then future world record holder and Olympic silver medalist, Dave Wharton. Wart. But it was also guys like Kevin Fines, God bless his soul, that loved boys varsity swimming, who fearlessly leading the charge and created a culture that oftentimes is just flat out mad. But most of us spent just about all of our waking hours together for 4 years, either training, recovering from training, hanging out, eating. We were as close as it gets, and we loved each other. Our times at the swimmer's table in the back corner of the cafeteria or hanging out in the locker room were priceless. Regardless if we haven't seen each other for 20 years or more, we could still pick up right where we left off. It's funny, I haven't seen Mike Peterson, who was my co-captain on the water polo team that year. I think it's over 30 years, and honestly, I feel like it's just yesterday. We were family then, and we still are. These weren't easy times in some respects for some of our teammates, and there are a number of guys that are still wrestling with some demons from that year that aren't here tonight, and they hopefully will be able to listen to a recording of this acceptance And to them I say, come back when you're ready. We're waiting for you. We love you. And if we find out that you don't listen to this acceptance, we're going to send the rookies to your houses to blast it out on loudspeakers on your front yard. Yuppie, Dawson, Burkh, let's get ready to go. Some of us, probably especially the seniors, though, knew the winds of change had arrived that year. And while there were great swimmers and teams to come in this program, this was the end of our era. As our teammate Mike Peterson astutely and somewhat cryptically noted in his senior page, to all things there is an end. In the end, we were special, a culmination of a very special time, maybe even more than we even thought or realized at the time, if that's possible. Long live boys varsity. Russ never sleeps. Thank you, everybody.
That was a great speech. Thank you, Paul. Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thanks, Schoeburg. You know, you've been an amazing, friend, coach, leader for so many people. You've influenced so many incredible, athletes over the years. And, we're just thrilled that you're here tonight to, celebrate with us. Thank you to the Hall of Fame for bringing our team all together. It's great to have all of these people coming in for this event. It's great to see, Dawson. I haven't seen you in so long. And Mike Peterson, it's like crazy. So, we're all, everybody else, Herb, Robert, yeah, it's really so. Burkh, Burkh, I see Burkh, yeah. So that's not, big deal, but yeah. No, just joking. But, Rob really said so much great things about, this team, and it was really, an amazing, accomplishment that we were able to go from 1985 to 86 as national championship. And, the things that we were able to accomplish as a team was pretty amazing over that time frame. But what we were also mentioning was that, our parents really did so much. And what people don't realize is that the carpooling, and I heard some people talking about that as well, was pretty intense. How many, different, layers of carpooling going from morning practice because it was so early. And, parents didn't always want to drive all the different ways. So that was something that Schoelberg actually had me chauffeuring a bunch of people in the mornings. And that was quite a ride for sure. But we also all started out at a very young age. And we were all swimming together, which I think I was telling Rob, my father had saved all these different programs from Kelly Pool back, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, all the same athletes. And it's amazing how we all, started, finishing up at Germantown Academy with Coach Schoelberg over those years. And it's a really exciting, scenario that we're celebrating the Hall of Fame now. Rob also talked about, the bond that we all shared. We definitely swam together, on a regular basis, 7 days a week, but we also spent so much time together as well. And whether we were at the Wawa, down the street, or if we're at somebody's home, we all basically had each other's backs, and that was really important. And that's what, made this team really successful as well. One of the things that, we just want to, say is that we're really thankful for everything that Coach Schoelberg has done over the years for us. And thank you to the Hall of Fame, to the school for inducting us. And thank you to, my family, my wife and daughter for coming out tonight. And thank you, Rob, for being co-captain. You too. Very good. Get this out of the way. That's Rob's, yeah.
The other members of the 1986 team, if you can come on up, please.
I'm Schoeburg, I won't lose. We're going to beat PC on Saturday. I promise. We're not going to lose, Schoeburg.
And last but certainly not least, the 1992 Girls National Championship swim team. Unfortunately, co-captains Gretchen Hambley and Melissa Marcin-Kowich couldn't be with us tonight, but co-captain Liz Rice-Begrowitz is here to speak about the 1992 team.
That's why she went to Notre Dame.
All right, good evening. On behalf of the 1992 women's swim team, I want to thank you for acknowledging us and for voting us to be inducted in the Germantown Academy Hall of Fame. I was asked to speak on behalf of the team as our co-captains Gretchen Hambley, who lives in Australia, and Melissa Marcinkowski, who is in North Carolina, was not able to be here tonight. Marty Duffett-Stacer and myself were co-captains for the 1993 season. However, we're here tonight to celebrate the 1992 women's swim team, which upset the Petty School following a 3-year dynasty under Coach Martin, Chris Martin, who's also a Germantown Academy alumni himself and who also trained under legendary coach Dick Schoeburg. While I don't remember our fight for the title to feel personal, we knew that Schoeburg wanted the title back. Upon recent reflection with Coach Schoeburg about the team in 1992, we discussed the criteria used to determine how a team earns this distinction, which we thought we might be interesting to review for those who might not be familiar. Swimming World magazine first began recognizing the top high school teams in the country in 1971. By 1992, Germantown Academy had captured 10 independent school titles and 4 combined championships, only being outswum by the Bowles School in Jacksonville, Florida, who had earned 10 women's titles and 12 combined championships. One might ask how you earned a combined championship title. The National High School Federation rules allows for each team across the country to create a girls and boys mythicals meet, which takes the top 12 congregate times from each championship meet and then scores it accordingly. For GA, our championship meet has always been Easterns, which was swum at LaSalle University in 1992. This meet had many elements of a national championship meet, since our arch rivals from the Petty School and the Bowles School both participated in this meet, and we were literally racing them, not just mythically racing them. While I can't speak to the score differences in any other year, in 1992 we won Easterns by a mere 8.5 points over the Petty School, and many races were won or lost by hundredths of a second. When the results of Easterns were applied to the girls' mythicals meet at the end of the season, Germantown Academy was the clear winner for the independent schools, with a score of 138 over the Petty School, which scored 76 points. GA was also the combined winner in 1992, combining the independent schools along with the public schools to declare a national champion. Again, GA's score of 138 topped the best public school of Americus from Georgia, who had earned 93 points. In 1992, GA had the fastest time in the country in both the 200 free relay, which consisted of Diana Groff, Karen Bunting, Danielle Strader, and Val Davis, and the 400 free relay, Strader, Groff, Bunting, and Mayuka Noda. However, the women from 1987, who are here tonight, still held the national independent school record in the 400 free relay at that time. So cheers to you. Other team members who were essential in scoring the national title were junior Danielle Strader, who led the way with a 3rd place finish in the 100 butterfly, and 5th place in the 50 free. Sophomore Karen Bunting placed 6th in the 500 free and 7th in the 200 free. And junior Mayuka Noda placed 4th in the 200 IM. While these were the statistics per se that led our team to earning the title of National High School Championship Team, every member of this team played an integral role in our success. Coach Schoeburg was quoted saying, "There's no doubt about it. This team of young ladies worked as hard as any group as I've ever coached. This may not be as talented as any team I've coached, but they had a fantastic work ethic." This work ethic is what led to our success in 1992, coupled with the camaraderie we shared as a team, both inside and outside of the pool. We not only showed up each day for double practices before and after school, but we showed up for one another as teammates and friends. We were training partners and competitors each day at practice and would push one another to our limits on a regular basis. If someone was having a difficult day, we picked them up emotionally and encouraged them to hang in there. We pushed one another through rigorous and unconventional dryland training that included running loops through the lower school, sprinting down the lower and upper hallways, while racing up and down the stairs to cross-train and build endurance. We developed blisters on the palms of our hands from lying on dollies and racing across the fieldhouse floor. We hung by our knees over the pool balcony and trusting our teammates to hold onto our ankles for stability while we did sit-ups at a 90-degree angle. We climbed the rope that hung over the pool and signed our names on the ceiling. Many of us arrived to practice early or came to the pool during our free periods to do extra dry land on the bio bench, the VASA trainer, or stand-up bike. We were all in. As legendary basketball coach Phil Jackson once stated, "The strength of a team is each individual member. The strength of each member is the team." We were a national championship team because we loved and respected one another, trusted and cared for each other, and showed up every day even when it was difficult. We empowered one another to be the best version of ourselves that we could be, and we held one another to the high expectations and standards that Coach Schoeburg placed upon us. He knew us as people, and he knew how to tap into our potential, planting the seeds in our minds for success and greatness. The overall experience we had at GA, both in the classroom and in the pool, prepared us for success in life. The life lessons we learned through training and studying, coupled with time management skills, perseverance, and grit, have definitely prepared us for life. And for that, we say thank you. Thank you to Coach Schoeburg for your belief in us both as individuals and collectively as a team. And thank you to GA for this distinguished honor and induction into the Hall of Fame.
Are there any other members of the 1992 team? If you would please come on stage.
Love you more. I like looking at them. They're beautiful.
All right, on behalf of Germantown Academy, I'd like to thank everyone again for coming out tonight. To tonight's inductees, the Hall of Fame class of 2020, congratulations again. I hope it was worth the wait. You enjoyed your night. It's an honor well deserved. I hope to see some of you out on Saturday to cheer on our current Patriots as we take on PC. We plan on bringing the competition cup home. Well, maybe not you, Claire. You'll be at another rivalry, possibly. I'm sorry, it's all right. Go GA, beat Pete C.